Welcome to FCC Supporters Square. For fans, by fans, and about fans. Here are your hosts, Mark Shipman and Matt Warman. Hey, welcome once again to FCC Supporters Square. I am your host, Matt Warman. Mark is around somewhere. He's lurking. I'm sure he'll be here. It's been a very strange week for me, so maybe I didn't get him all the information timely. That would be my bad. But it is what it is. But the good news is that we have another fabulous guest, Mike Bowman. Say hi, Mike.
Hi, everybody.
So, what a day to record. During this recording day, we just found out that Brenner's might be sold. We have three of our FC Cincinnati representatives in the U.S. men's national squad. We have a 1-0 victory against Philly. We have a possible Acosta injury. I think it is an Acosta injury, but for how long? Who's going to play in St. Louis? We don't know. So that's going to be a very interesting road match. And the FCC Supporter Square podcasters will be in St. Louis. We will do some kind of zany live podcast there. So if you are going to St. Louis, look for us. I believe the meetup is at the Tin Roof Cafe. We're heading out tomorrow late afternoon, something like that. So we'll be hanging around tomorrow night, but definitely Saturday we'll be shooting something. So come up, say hi, join the fun. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. So, of all the news, which would you like to talk about first?
Oh, I think we've got to start off with the Brenner news. I mean, that huge, like out of left field. Here we go. I'm actually excited about it. I think the club, he's not wanted to be here for a while. We know that. I think it's affected his performance because all the stress that he wants to move. I think, and now he's going to miss Saturday apparently, which is really going to hurt us, especially without Lucho playing too. But I think, honestly, I think it's a good thing for FC Cincinnati because it's going to unleash last year's Brenner. He'll have no stress on him anymore. He knows he's going to Serie A in the summer, so he can just play free and, wild like he was last year. So I think that's a good thing. Plus, it gives us that young DP spot back that we can fill again this summer. So, I mean, I like the move. I know a lot of people are like, no. I'm in the camp of yes, because I trust Chris Albright. I trust Pat Noonan. And I think they'll bring in somebody that's, just as good, just as talented. And who knows what the fee will be, but who cares? Carl's got the money. He doesn't care to spend it. Let's go.
I agree with pretty much everything you just said, particularly with Albright in the front office, is that nobody knew who Brenner was before we brought him in. Of course, it was before Albright, but we brought him in. So the front office is willing to spend money. But Albright, every move that Albright has made has been money, which is been crazy, but also really good. That means we've got a really good guy. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he wants. I'm certain that they have a plan. I'm certain that they know who they want to go get. They're not going to tell us, right? Because they've got to make contracts and all that stuff. But I'm really excited about that because I know a lot of people, particularly early on, were like, "Oh, this Brenner guy, he's no good." I'm like, give him a break. He's 21 years old. He's in a new country, doesn't speak the language, doesn't know the culture. I mean, Barreal, his first year was moments of brilliance, but long stretches of where he just looked lost. And once the second year, he settled in. And now that he's in a system and we've got him in a position, he's all world. I think that's it's going to take some time with whoever we get, unless it's a U.S. born a player. But I'm excited about it. I'm excited about what might happen. I still think we have a chance to win the Supporter Shield without Brenner. I still think we have a chance to win. This is my bad take. We like to do bad takes here, Mike. My bad take is I think without Brenner, we still have a really good shot at winning both the Cup and the Supporter Shield.
Oh, I don't disagree with that at all. I mean, we've got Sergio Santos waiting in the wings once Brenner leaves, in July. And, Sergio provides something a little different than Brenner, but with his speed, and we've seen, he's physical, which is exactly what Brenner is not. So I think we'll be okay. And like I said, I trust that they already know who they want. They've got a short list of guys to bring in. So, and maybe they talk Wolves into selling Mosquera and we use the young DP on Mosquera. I would not be opposed to that. The kids
I
have
would
been,
absolutely adore that.
and we still have a U22 spot to use too. I mean, we've got both of them available right now. So, we may be able to manage to keep Mosquera at least for a year or two while he develops and then let him go back to Wolves, you know, and bring in another young kid from South America or even here from the States if we know who that is. Plus, we've got a lot of kids in the program too, like Steven Jimenez, the 15-year-old. Everybody raves about this guy. I've not seen him play yet. I've not been to a 2-game to see him, but everybody raves about him on the ball. So I'm like, okay.
He's got 2 braces in 2 games. Granted,
So
it's FCC 2 competition, but still, and he's 15. I would really like him to finish at least this season before, we've seen a whole bunch of wonder kids at 14, 15 just wash out by 20 because
yeah,
it's just too much too soon.
I would also like to see him get a few minutes in an Open Cup match, coming in as a sub late in the game. Get him in with the first team, let him experience what the crowd looks like, playing against higher level competition. I think.
Go ahead. Uh, I was just about to say, well, that leads right into the next topic. We find out our old friends downriver are going to come and visit us for for their annual SmackDown. I'm excited about that. Unfortunately, I'll be leaving town the night that happens, so uh, I know people will cheer for me. But I was looking forward to that SmackDown.
We'll carry the torch for you.
I hear
Bought
streamers
my
are
ticket
being.
to 901 Monday, so no question. You know that. I was
Yes,
like, oh yeah, the Dirty River Derby's back. Let's go.
I hear some streamers have been purchased.
Yeah, yes, I've seen that on Twitter.
So, but I'm thinking, well, we don't throw streamers on our place, but well, we'll figure that out.
We'll
Uh,
just throw them in the stands.
that's it. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. I'm sorry to miss that one, but that one will be fun. And now we've got three Vasquez, Celentano, and Miazga all going to play against Mexico midweek next week. Not missing any time. I mean, we'll miss some practice time probably, but not missing any game time. So, what do you think about that?
Oh, I love the fact that all three of them got called in, especially Miazga being included back in the side. He's deserved to be there the entire time. He's, in my opinion, he's the best center back in MLS, hands down. And he's kind of proven that this year. So he deserves to be there. I mean, I know he and Berhalter didn't get along and whatever, but, he needs to be back there. Celentano, I love him getting experience, with the national team. I don't think we'll actually see him play. I think you're going to see Sean Johnson get the start. But I think Brandon Vasquez is going to play a lot of minutes. And I think and that may jumpstart his season too. Because remember, he scored, for the national team last time he was there. So, but yeah, I'm excited for the three of them. It does concern me a little bit with, workload for that 1 week because Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, I can't imagine them going, especially Vasquez going in 90, 90, 90. It can't happen. So I don't know if maybe, we call up the men's team, be like, hey, can you just play him for a half? Please get him some rest because we're going to need him. Now Miazga and Celentano, if they play and go all 90, that's fine. That doesn't bother me. It's Vasquez is the one I'd be concerned about because, he's got such a high work rate. I'm like, but I think it's great. And it looks great for FC Cincinnati. We've got the most players called up into this camp. It's like 2 years ago, we would have laughed about it. We would have been like, yeah, right. That's never going to happen. Which now I love it.
Yeah, I'm just I keep thinking from the USL days. I was some of the things that you don't really think about because in the USL days, it's like, oh, it wouldn't be nice if we could get this player or that player. You know, if we're in the MLS, we're in conversations, and that's actually happened. A lot of players that you knew or watched, you know, oh man, now I get to watch them play. But the other side effect was, oh yeah, we've got players. I mean, Jimmy, we love Jimmy, but there's no way he's going to make the U.S. men's team. That's not going to happen.
I know. Same
It's
with like
just
Mitch
not going to
back in
happen.
the day.
Then now we've got players that are on the U.S. men's team, so it's people from all over the country going, "Oh yeah, that guy, he plays for our team." So it really I think adds to the excitement. I I seemingly I think it was 60 minutes when he played when Vasquez played the first time. So I would say probably no more than 60 because I don't think this is closer to a friendly than
Oh, it's
uh,
absolutely a friendly. I mean, it's a meaningless match against Mexico. Of course, it's Mexico, so it means a little
right.
more to everybody involved. But I'd like to see him play either 60 or even come on in the 60th and play the final 30.
That's fine
I
with
want to
me.
see him go all 90.
Yes.
Like I said, Miazga, if he goes on 90, fine. I don't worry about his fitness. He's been fine. Celentano, like I said, I don't think he sees the pitch, but if he does, great. Um, but yeah, it's exciting. I mean, like I said, 3 years ago we wouldn't be talking about this. We couldn't even win a game in MLS, let alone send anybody to the national team. So yeah, I like the direction we're heading. I love it.
Celentano with clean sheet after clean sheet. I mean, he's got as many clean sheets as Teton did in 2+ years, and he's barely been keeper for a year. You remember he did not start the season. It was Alex Kahn that started the season. So
Mm-hmm.
he's got maybe a season in him, and he's already got 10 clean sheets.
Well, I think he's a superstar in the making. I think he's another one you're going to see eventually get sold on to Europe, just like Matt Turner did, just like Zach Steffen. I'm pretty sure he'll get sold to Europe at some point because he's what, 22, 23,
Yes.
straight out of college. I mean,
Yes.
you know, and that's what this league has to be. We have to be a sell-on league. We're not going to be let's go out and sign somebody for 100 million. It's not going to happen. So, but yeah, I mean, you just look at the team and you see all the opportunities for these guys, and some of them will get sold on. Brandon Vasquez, I'm sure, if not the summer after the year, he'll be gone. Which good for him. These guys want to play in Europe, and I don't blame them. I'd want to play in Europe too if I was a footballer. I don't want to play in MLS my whole career. I mean, you make a halfway decent living, but you're not going to make what you're going to make in Europe. So, but yeah, that's why I think the club's trending in the right direction overall. We've got these guys. I mean, we've had what? Nottingham Forest, Udinese, and PSV all knocking on our door in January looking at Brenner. You've heard the rumors that Chivas is looking at Vasquez, and now we've heard a Bundesliga teams looking at Vasquez. I've also heard a couple championship teams in the English Championship are looking at him. I'm like, fantastic, great, just not both in the same year.
Yeah.
We can't lose them both this year. If we do, we're in trouble.
We don't have the backups just yet.
Right. And even if we bring people in the summer window, I still don't want Vasquez gone. Let him go in the winter window, join a club mid-season when their season's, at the midway point. That's fine, but not both at the same time. We can't. I don't think we can survive that.
After we win the cup.
Yeah.
So a hard fought 1-0 victory against Philadelphia on Saturday. It was a rotated squad, but I was surprised at how much they brought most of their starters in the second half. Clearly parked the bus. Yes, we won. It was kind of a gritty, weird performance. I'm just hoping that parking the bus is just a one-time thing because it seems like we should be able to break down a park the bus type of strategy. We didn't seem to understand what we wanted to do. We had at one point 80% possession, which is not our style. They said, "Here, have the ball, try to score." We did. I'm happy for the 3 points. What's your thoughts?
I'll take those 3 points all day long. I don't care if they rotated or not, because in the second half they brought every one of those big guns in, trying to either steal a point or steal all three. And it also speaks to how improved our defense is this year. Uh, from even last year to this year, it's amazing to see how much better they are. And you mentioned the clean sheets. Well, without the guys in front of Roman, that doesn't happen. So, um, I don't know that I agreed with the referee's call when he pulled back the goal to make it a penalty kick, but whatever. Lucho still converted it. It's fine. Um, the Lucho injury concerns me. Um, even missing him for 1 week is going to hurt us. If he's out, they said 1 to 3, I think is what I saw today. If he's out all 3, that's going to hurt. We're going to have a problem with that. Even going into this match on Saturday, we know Brenner's not playing. We know Lucho's not playing. It's like, uh-oh. So who plays the 10? But back to the Philly match, we didn't get out of control either. And that was good to see. I mean, we didn't, try to play long ball after long ball after long ball over the top. We kept possession and tried to find the opening. And, I don't mind if we play that way. I know we're not suited to that style necessarily, but it worked. We got all 3 points. We're at the top of the table. We got a 1 point lead in the supporter shield this early in the season. Hey, I'll take it all day long.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So let's take a look at this Saturday, our first ever match with St. Louis. They've shocked the world with 5 straight wins, but now 2 straight losses. I would say with a full squad, I would probably have a different opinion going into this game than I do now. So this is bad take time. This is what we try to do. We have a rotated squad due to injury and some other things. What's your prediction? Where do you think we're heading?
I'm far less optimistic than I was at 9 o'clock this morning before all the Brenner news broke and we heard about Lucho. How bad he is. I do like the fact that Obi's going to be back this week. It seems like he has no minutes restriction, so at least defensively we should be whole. Offensively, I don't see where goals come from. I know we're going to see Santos and Vasquez up top. I don't know who's going to play the 10. Do we rotate Barrial up to play the 10, which is probably the most likely thing we're going to do? And then, adjust the back line a little bit, maybe throw Arias on the left where he belongs and put Gaddis on the right. Who knows? But I don't know where the offense is going to come from, and that scares me. So I would say at this point, I would love to just take a point. I don't think we will. Unfortunately, I think we're going to take our first loss of the season because they're at home. If you've not seen their crowd, it's an amazing crowd. I mean, it rivals us. It's almost right there with us. I mean, it's a great facility. It's a great crowd. So they'll be pumped up coming back home. They're coming off 2 losses, so they're going to have a little burr up their butt anyway. So, yeah, I think maybe we take our first loss of the season this week.
Yeah, I think we're going to probably play to a draw. I know that they were doing a lot of high pressing. That really plays to our style. If you're going to press us, we have ways to move the ball forward. I think Santos could play in place of Brenner for a match. You forget that Yuya Kubo will be available as well. At least that's what I've
I
heard.
thought he was still out.
I thought he was off to the side, but he was off to the
he's
side
probably
with
not going to be available. So, there's missing those 3 and calling Yuya Kubo a key cog, but he is. He's a great late game sub. I mean, he's done so much for this club, and I think sometimes he gets overlooked a little bit.
He's a sub for Lucho. Usually, 70 minutes if you can get him out. We've got Pinto. I'm not sure about Angulo. I think he's had ample opportunity. He's not shown. He seems to be a turnover machine. He doesn't quite seem to know what we're doing in our system.
Well, and in his defense, he's a kid. I mean, he's so young. I think he's getting thrust into things a little too quickly. I think they need to hold him back a little bit, but with where we're at, I mean, sometimes he's got to play. Pinto, I think Malik Pinto has been great. I've been really impressed with him, but I don't know that you can throw him into the 10. Like I said, I think I'd rather see Barrial slide into that 10 role for a match because he's perfectly capable of doing it. He's shown that. and then rotate the wing backs a little bit. We'll go a little more defensive, having Arias and Gaddis, but I think we need to play for a draw. If we get the win, great, but I think we need to play for a draw and realize that, hey, we're missing two of our key offensive figures, and we've got our CDM's coming off an injury. He's been out for 2 weeks. Let's get a point.
I think he's chomping at the bit. It'll be an interesting match, and I'm telling you, just going to St. Louis to see. I went to Charlotte last year for their home match against us, and it was so fun to see the fans and interact with the fans because they were so. I remember our first year, we were like, "Come say hi to us, come see us, come talk to us." Charlotte was like that. Like now, it's our third or fourth year. We still like seeing people from out of town, but it's like, okay, yeah, hi.
Yeah, if you get a chance, try to meet up with some of the Luligans. They are fantastic people. These are the same. It's the same supporters group that goes all the way back to their USL club. Even though the two clubs aren't affiliated, the fan group just migrated. So I still talk to a lot of them on Twitter. They're uber nice people. They're very welcoming. In fact, if people want to show up to their tailgate, they would be welcoming. You show up and they've got beer and food all the time. You just donate money and you get beer and food. So that's another thing for anybody traveling to St. Louis. If you go to Tin Roof and maybe you want to go check out their tailgate, go do it. They're not going to mess with you. That's not their culture. They're not Orlando. Thank God. And some of the other, we've heard bad things about Portland and other places, but yeah, nothing bad to say about St. Louis. The people are great. It's a great foodie scene, so check out the town while you're there. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good time. We considered going at first, and we're like, yeah, we've kind of backed off our travel a little bit. If you haven't noticed, you haven't seen us a whole lot of places lately. But yeah, so yeah, it's going to be a good match. It's going to be a good time for everybody that goes to St. Louis. Like I said, great city. Can't say anything bad about St. Louis. I love every time we've gone there for a match. It's been a blast. So
come find us. Please come find us because we're gonna have a blast. Win, lose, or draw, regardless of what happens on the pitch. We're gonna do our thing as we always do, and we're gonna record some of this, and we're gonna have a good time. I'm going with Aaron is rolling with us. I think Trina's also rolling with us. So I know it's gonna be a lively crew, and we're definitely gonna have fun. So this is the part of our show where we talk to you. So I know you from the USL days. You and I were both, quote, sergeant at arms.
yes,
Our job was to protect the drummers because at the time marches were beginning to get big enough where people didn't know what was going on and were running through the drummers and around the drummers, and our job was to kind of be the drummer bouncers. So tell me a little bit about well, what supporter group do you belong to, if any, or multiple, and how did you get involved into FCC fandom?
we'll start with the latter. How I got involved with FCC. I remember seeing when they launched the club. I saw it on the news and everywhere, and I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool because it. There were soccer clubs before in Cincinnati, but when you hear Carl Lindner, Jeff Birding, and John Harks are all involved, you go, oh, this one's kind of serious. This one I'll pay attention to. So I did not get to the first home match that they ever played. I heard they drew 14,000 people, and I told my son, who was a teenager at the time, I'm like, dude, we need to go check this out. I'm like, this sounds like it could be a really good time. So we tried to buy Bailey tickets for the second home match. The Bailey was sold out that night. So we ended up in GA in the very first row of the horseshoe at Nippert. Bought ourselves a couple scarves, a couple hats. We're like, okay. And even if you go back and find the year one recap video of USL, you will see my son and I on that video holding up our scarves and screaming into the camera. After that match, I was done. I was hooked. It was over. So the very next day, or the following Monday, actually, so not Sunday, but Monday, I called up the ticket office and I bought 2 in the Bailey for the rest of the season. After that, started bringing my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife. I got her hooked on it now. I've got her kids hooked on it. So now we're up to 4 Bailey seats. So 8 years in the Bailey now. And as far as supporters groups, 8 years with DI now, Dienestadt. And also every year with Hangar 937 once they were founded. I was actually the very first paying member of Hangar 937 since I knew the people who were starting it up. I did serve a year and a half as the vice president of Hangar through the COVID season and part of the season after. Just trying to keep the group afloat, which was really, really difficult back then since you couldn't have in-person meetups and everything. The really cool thing about toward the end of the COVID season, when all the restaurants and bars started opening back up, we got Yellow Cab Tavern, who's our home bar here in Dayton, the Dayton area, to agree to let us have parking lot parties. So they would wheel out a big 70-inch TV, put it on a folding table for us, and everybody bring their camping chairs, and we'd all sit spaced out and watch the match together. So it was kind of like, back then having human contact without having human contact. So, but yeah, it's been a blast. These past 8 years have been so fun. I mean, even through the down years of MLS, it's like it was still fun. And now that we're winning and we're back in contention, and you feel it too, I'm sure, the energy is back. The energy that we felt in the USL days when we were just whipping everybody's butt. It's like now we go to the match and we expect to win. It's not those couple years where we were like, yeah, we're going to get our tails kicked again, but we're still going to go to the match because we've got tickets and, see all our friends. Now you get to see all your friends and you get to see us kick ass. And hey, that's awesome. So, yeah, I'll be there till the end of time, probably. I don't know how much time I've got left in the Bailey. We'll see. Getting up there and, we'll see.
Hey, it is fun. I was in the Bailey, as you know. You and I were hanging out, and it appears through a quirk of fate that I will probably need a Bailey ticket for the Portland game because I didn't think I was going to be in town, but I think I will be in town now. So I'll join again. But First Financial this is where all the retirees. It's where all the retired capos are, presidents. I see so many people that I know that were ardent Bailey people 5 years ago. They're like, yeah, we're all retired. We still do our thing, but we just, you'll join us.
I may have 1 or 2 more seasons in the Bailey left. Now I don't march anymore. Well, physically, I mean, my knee has never been right since the ACL surgery, so I can't march. I mean, when the march leaves, we head out the other side of the still house and just go right to the stadium, pick out our spot. We stay in 109. We stay away from the drums and everything, but we still chant, we still sing, we still participate fully, but it's a little more laid back over where we're at. And then after the match, I'll go and see everybody I know. Especially Alex and Devin and Becky and all the people we know. I'll go say hi to them after the match, and they almost expected at this point that I'll come tumbling down the stairs to say hi. But yeah, I mean, it's still been fun. It's a little different being at TQL. I'll be honest. I kind of miss Nippert at times. I miss bench surfing. That was a blast back in the day. But hey, at least we have a competent club now, and that's the best I can say. I mean, what Pat Noonan and Chris Albright and Hunter Freeman have done in less than 2 years' time is absolutely amazing. And really, with just a few additions here and there, they're still using a lot of the players that were here under Niekamp and all the different Dutch managers we had. So,
well, it's 4 windows now.
but still, if you look at it, a lot of these players were still here.
Oh yeah, that's what I said. Basically, you have a good coach when the guy says, "I'll use my players and I'll beat you, and then I'll take your players and I'll still beat you." And that's kind of what it felt like with Newton was, other than the Austin game, which I was there, and weather was probably a bit of a factor, but he was trying to do something else. He's like, okay, these guys can't do that yet. We're going to try to change formation and figure this thing out. Other than that, I mean, he's playing way he wants to play, and he's got the players believing in what he wants to do. And now it's winning time, and that's really a great recipe.
Yeah, and also, and I'll say this one thing: a huge shout out to Nick Hagland. He took a
He's
massive pay cut to stay here, and he
I,
has been a rock for 2 seasons.
it's
Under
weird. The older he gets, the better he gets. I mean, it's like 2 years ago. I like, okay, yes, it's a hometown signing, and we paid a lot of money for him. I don't see it. I really don't see it. I'm saying when he got burned away a couple of years ago in Orlando, that just was like embarrassing. I'm like, okay, but now he is on top of his game. He's a Lakota guy. I'm a Lakota guy. So whenever I see him, he says hi. We're not at from the same year. I can tell you that much. But but yeah, he's gone from just a local guy, a good news story, to a very solid center back, and why we can play a back three is because of his play.
Yeah, and go figure, he's the grizzled veteran on the squad now.
So so it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, we'll be out on the road. Come find us in St. Louis. Mike, thank you for your insight, your fandom. I've known you for many years. I've hung with you for many years. We had to go through a lot of things. It's always a pleasure to see you. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. If you see him in the Bailey, please go say hi. He's a big teddy bear, more teddy than bear. Uh, depending on when you
Depending.
catch him.
Yeah, depending. Now, if there are Orlando fans close to me who are wearing their kits in the Bailey, I'm not going to be a teddy bear. I'm just going to
Well,
be
no, nobody
a
would be that, but nobody would blame you for that. But and this is why we do this. Whether you're a casual or you're just hanging out with wherever you're sitting, not in the Bailey, it's the same thing. You're going to see the same people week in and week out. Say hi to the people on the road behind you and in front of you and around you. Get your little crew together. That's kind of what we're doing this show for, and we'd love to hear your perspective as well. But Mike, thank you so much for your time. This was such an enjoyable show. I think this might have been the most knowledgeable show we've had in some time. We're not usually talking about things and stuff. We're usually just having bad takes and beers. But every now and then you have to show that we kind of know what we're talking about.
well, hey, thanks for having me. This has been a blast. Like I said, this is the first time I've ever done something like this, and it's been fun. It really has.
Thank you so much. And for those of you who might want to join, uh, give me a shout out at fcc.supp.square@gmail.com, and we'll try to get you on. I know we've got a couple more things booked, but we're always looking for new perspectives and new blood. So thank you, Mike. For Mike Bowman, I'm Matt Warman. Mark will join us. I know the next time we record, which will be Saturday, he will be here. So, and he is missed. We miss you. Thanks for listening, and thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon.